If you have one of these Honda lawnmowers and the lawnmower is hard to pull backwards, it's possible that yours may have already seized, so the tires lock up when you're trying to pull it back. Or it could be that you're noticing over time that it's harder and harder to just pull the lawnmower back or roll it backwards. Here is some quick tips or maintenance that you can do in order to prevent or delay this from happening. I'm going to tip your lawnmower onto the oil drain side of it, so the carburetor is facing up, and then you're going to basically lubricate this bushing or this area right here in between this shaft, this drive shaft, and the bushing inside. My lawnmower here, I have already gone through the steps and did this, as you can see, with all the liquid around it. But just to kind of show, so I used PB Blaster first. Initially I used a ton of that, and then I went in with some lubricating spray and kind of sprayed in there. And again, you're going to turn the wheel, the upper wheel, the one up here, backwards, so that that liquid can go in between that gap. This lawnmower was almost seized. I mean, it would lock up here or there, so I could not roll this backwards. And I'll show at the end how easy it is to move this back. Now, to do the same work on this bushing up here, we're gonna have to tilt this onto the carburetor side. And what we're gonna have to do then first is, one, shut the fuel off right here. What I'm also gonna do is just kind of flip the mower back and make sure there's not a lot of gas in my tank. If there is a lot of gas in your tank, you're gonna have to drain that out first before you proceed. All right, I have the fuel shut off. My lawnmower actually did not have much gas in it, so I'm not worried about anything spilling out of the gas tank from the cap. And here we go. So now the lawnmower is on the opposite side, so we can go ahead and put some fluid in here. Again, I started with the PB Blaster, but I've already done this several times. I'm going to just put some oil now, lubrication. You can use any kind of oil, really. You're just trying to free up the rust buildup. As you can see, all the rust buildup on the shaft here, the same amount of buildup is inside of here in between this shaft and that bushing. So once you do that, just go ahead and turn the wheel. I guess now I'm turning the wheel counterclockwise. So there it is. Again, I'm simulating the lawnmower being pulled backwards. So if you go in the other direction, if the shaft is not moving, you're not getting anything accomplished. So you shouldn't hear this clicking noise. You're gonna go in reverse. And if your lawnmower has seized up, or it just does not want to go backwards at all, pretty much you're gonna use some elbow grease to kind of get that first brake and get this shaft moving inside of there. Once that happens, you should be able to free it up, and you should be able to roll your lawnmower backwards. All right, here it is after I have lubricated that shaft, or the area in between the shaft and the bushing, and there you go. I would not say it's extremely easy to pull backwards, but at least it's not locking up, which means it is actually a lot easier than what I was dealing with before. As I stated earlier, if you have one of these lawnmowers or any Honda self-propelled lawnmower, I would say probably with this generation or this Quadra Cut and anything newer, kind of have the same drive design, and you would want to make sure that you're lubricating the area in between that shaft and the bushing as a regular maintenance type work. You know, when you do your oil change or when you do your air filter, I would highly recommend doing that Whenever I go to purchase one of these lawnmowers used, the first thing I do is I test to see if it rolls backwards, because the ones that are seized, it's really tough. You really have to take everything apart to unseize that shaft from the bushing, and it's a lot of work, and it's just not worth it at that point. Honda has definitely over-engineered their lawnmowers, and that might be the reason they're gonna stop making lawnmowers, but they're gonna get out of that business.